Hello, welcome to Songbird Sage Knits. Today I'm doing another project video. So this is not my typical long form podcast. I'm just going to be talking about the lovely knitwear that I currently have on. So thanks for joining me. Just want to mention before we get started that you can also find me on Ravelry as Songbird Sade and on Instagram as Songbird Sade. And I love getting messages, getting comments, and questions, of course. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I will absolutely respond to you. So let's get started. I'm wearing this beautiful little summer tee, a yoked summer tee by Kate Davies. It's called Treit, T-R-E-I-T, and I think her pattern has a long sleeve version. I don't know if it's a different yarn, but a long sleeve version, and then this version, which is just a lovely, simple t-shirt. So I'll just stand up and show it to you. It's a yoked design, a little bit oversized. I always pick exactly the recommended size with the recommended ease because I like positive ease in pretty much all of my garments that I wear and knit. It gives me a lot of confidence in when I'm trying to decide on sizing for knitting because I know if there's built-in positive ease, even if it ends up being a little tighter for whatever reason, it's still going to fit me. So that's how I approach sizing, and again, I like positive ease anyway. So first of all, I'll tell you which yarn I used for this. I used a really beautiful yarn called, I think it's called Marilyn by Isaga. I'm just gonna pull that up. Yeah, Marilyn by Isaga, which I think is I think it's a Danish yarn. Let me click on it here. Denmark, yes. So it's a Danish yarn, and this is a blend of wool and linen. And I've never really, this might have been my first real garment project that was made with yarn that was blended with a non-animal fiber, and I loved it. It's perfect for summer, of course. In Ontario, our summers are usually quite hot, so it's not good for, midsummer, but it's great in the cusp seasons and great as over a dress. I think this would be fantastic if it's just a little bit chilly, but not cold enough that you need an actual sweater. This actually does provide a lot of warmth. So yeah, and this is just a gray color. It's a little bit variegated. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it sort of is, has this lighter gray that's kind of a little bit beige actually, and then just like a more gray color. So it has a little bit of a texture to it, and then the linen is beautiful. You probably will not see that on camera, but the linen has these sort of, planty fibers that stick out and give this really, really interesting visual texture, and also texture that you can feel when you're knitting it. And I really loved that. Very soft yarn, next to skin, totally fine. Yeah, lots of drape, really light. I think it's a fingering weight. So yeah, a good yarn choice for this project. And then about the design, this is a top-down yoked design, well-written instructions, of course, by Kate Davies. So yeah, top-down yoke. Of course, there's this beautiful lace work that happens here, and fairly easy to sort of get the rhythm of. It kind of changes, right, as you go down. It's just a variation on a theme, I guess. And I didn't really struggle with that. I would definitely say that this is not a beginner lace pattern. Really, if you're thinking of doing lace but you haven't tried it before, while this is overall a very simple like t-shirt design, the structure and the shaping, it's all very simple, and the way that it's knit is simple. The lace is not really appropriate for beginners. However, if you've done a few lace patterns and you're by no means an expert, I think you can still tackle this. I certainly made a few mistakes here and there, and I'm still not really good at unknitting lace and, you know, figuring out how to do that part and then fixing. So sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. It kind of depends, I guess, where I've made a mistake. So I made a few mistakes in this lace pattern, and I just try to fix it as best as I can. But really, overall, because it's, you know, for this yoked section, it's pretty much all lace. I don't think anyone will even notice where those mistakes are unless they're really analyzing it, you know, comparing this column to this column, and no one does that. So even I don't do that. Like, I know there's mistakes in here, and once I finish knitting it, I really haven't looked at that. I think overall you just sort of read the pattern as, you know, a holistic sort of idea, and that's good enough for me anyway. So I'm really happy with that. Yeah, it's a bit oversized, so good for the summer because, you know, there is wool in this yarn that I chose to use. I think Kate Davies also uses wool in her yarns, or in this pattern, I mean to say. And so in the summer, I really don't want wool sticking to my skin. If I do happen to be sweating, I don't want the wool to feel like it's just, you know, rubbing, and ugh, that's not a nice feeling. So that's great. And also in the armpit, you can see it doesn't sit snug in the armpit either, so there's lots of airflow there and really comfortable, because that really is like, you know, unless you sweat a lot. I probably sweat a lot actually, but it's mostly, you know, if it's my armpits and I'm like sitting outside in the sun and my arms are at rest here, and there's skin touching skin, and it's really a hot spot. So this is nice. It doesn't really get stuck in the armpit. And then, yeah, so that's just the fit. There's no waist shaping at all. It's just knit straight down, and then you do a 1x1 rib on the welt. And that just sort of, you know, doesn't really taper it very much at all, but it just gives it a neat finish. Now I think that the design is maybe a little more cropped. It might have, you know, supposed to have ended there or wherever, just below the waist, so that you could easily wear it over top of a dress. I felt that that was a little too short for me, so I made it a little bit longer. It sort of hits just my hip bones where those start, and it's great for jeans. It still rides up, of course, if I raise my arms, but I think it looks great with jeans, and it still looks good with some other dresses that I have. So yeah, I think if you know you want to wear it with dresses or skirts, especially more fuller dresses or skirts, try to stick to the cropped version that the pattern is intended to be. I think that generally, because it is so oversized, you don't want all that extra fabric sitting on top of an already sort of full skirt or full dress. So if it's cropped, it just kind of, it spreads out where you have the fullness, right? If you have a full skirt on, probably start somewhere around your waist or a bit lower, and then it'll sort of, you know, your top will be a bit full, and then you'll have a bit of a waistline created there by that intersection. But otherwise, I mean, this is great. I've worn it over more like sack style dresses that are just, you know, hang off the shoulders and are just kind of straight down, and it actually suits that look really well too. Yeah, so basically you do top down, you do the yoke, and then it's just stockinette stitch straight down from there, and then you go back after you've knit the body, you go back and you add little sleeve caps on. At that point, you can decide if you want to do the long sleeve version, if you want to do a 3/4 length, if you want to do more of like a vintage short sleeve style that comes to just above the elbow. If you want to do longer short sleeves or just this really sweet little sleeve cap. I think the sleeve cap looks great because it is it's a deep yoke actually, kind of deep, and it really beautifully goes over the shoulder. I really like that, and I think that this little section of stockinette stitch just kind of completes it without taking away from this beautiful lace yoke. I really like that. It's like almost like a necklace or something, just, you know, some big chest piece going all the way around. I think it's really pretty. What else can I say? Didn't take very long to knit. I think I used 3 skeins of the Marilyn, which are 50-gram skeins. I used just a little bit more than 3 skeins. So really not very much yarn goes into this, so you can kind of, you know, if you have been eyeing some beautiful blended summer yarn, maybe with silk or something that's a little bit more luxury, this is a good project because it doesn't take up too much yarn. And so you can, you know, if you want to, you can splurge a little bit more and use a bit more of a luxury yarn. And yeah, otherwise I think it's just a very practical, sort of casual looking piece that has this extra lace detail, which is really pretty. And I get a lot of wear out of it already. So I'm really happy with this, the way it looks. And I didn't have to make any modifications. The neckline sits really well, not too low, not too high. And yeah, a great piece for spring, summer, and fall. So let me know if you're also knitting this or if you are considering knitting it. And of course, if you have any comments or questions, you can reach out to me here on YouTube in the comment section below, or you can message me on Instagram or Ravelry. And I always love getting messages, and I'd be so happy to respond to you and to answer any questions that you might have. So thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you'll tune in again to see some of my other videos. I do tutorials as well, in addition to these little project videos, and of course I do try to upload longer format podcasts somewhat regularly, usually once a month. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again soon. Enjoy your day. Bye.